Look at that guy.
Get on with the
I forgot.
That's okay. You didn't need to record that. All right. So we're going to do that. Facebook shares, likes. All right. Thank you all.
Great. And Michaela couldn't make it, right? Or is she online? Well, I think we can, I think most of us know our keynote speaker, Superintendent Roski. Thank you for coming, and it's perfect time for talking about schools because you've got some kids coming back your way, right?
Coming whether we're ready or not.
And apologize to the Zoom folks who are not able to stream the slides, but I'm sure the verbal content will be good.
Well, first of all, let me just say it's an honor and privilege to be here today. Clay County is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place for kids to go to school. So I'm particularly proud to be superintendent of schools here in Clay County. And this group here in particular is fantastic because you all come here willingly with a servant's heart to do the right thing for our community, which is outstanding. You know, so sad to hear all of the losses that we've had within our community, and certainly my heart's thoughts and prayers go out to those individuals. I'm hoping to give you a much more uplifting view of Clay County schools. And so if we could, you know, run the slide there. Gabby's in charge of that. I was asked to give a presentation on the state of Clay County schools. And so today, I understand I have to give a tell. That's my tell. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about growth within our school system. I'm going to talk about Head First, which is our half-cent sales tax, reflections on last year, third grade reading, instructional vision for this year, looking forward to the new school year, answer any questions you got. So I'm going to jam pack it. I'm going to move fast. That doesn't mean we can't go back and review, but there's a lot of meat and potatoes to this and things I thought you'd be interested in. So first, let's talk about student growth. You know, we're projecting an additional 10,000 students here in Clay County within the next 10 years. So we have tremendous growth that's happening within our district. How many of you live in an area where the First Coast Expressway is cutting through your area, where you travel through areas where the construction, you're seeing the construction? So if we look on to the next slide, we do have a new school opening up. It's going to open up. It's called School R. There's no official name yet, although a naming committee is getting together to do that. School R is going to be located in the Lake Asbury area on 315 in that area. Interestingly enough, when you start to talk about growth, I really categorize it in the school system into three categories. One is it's definitely going to happen. Two is it's very likely to happen. And three is projected to happen, right? So you know that things happen. So I'll give you a quick example. School R was projected in 2007. Well, what happened in 2008? The economy went down. Here we are, you know, 12, 13 years later, and School R is going to happen. The board's already voted. It's a done deal. It opens up in August of 2023. It takes about 18 months to build the school. And so breaking ground would probably be around January of this year in preparation for August of 2023. So if you take a look, those are all neighborhoods that are in the area. I thought it'd be kind of interesting, just to kind of give you a visual. All of those circles represent various communities that are being built right now. If you look in Lake Asbury, it's about 6,000 homes are projected just in the Lake Asbury area. So that's a closer look of that and a closer look at where School R is. Again, located, it's about 20 acres, located on County Road 315. It'll be a K8, K6 facility when it first opens up. And you can see all of those areas. So go ahead, yeah, let's go on to the next one. The next school that we have slated for 2024 is what we're calling School A. And by the way, very unlikely for us to name a school after people. And it turns out that that's been a wise move by the Clay County school system. We have a few people that's named after: Patterson, Bennett, Tynes, after Jesse P. Tynes, former superintendent of schools, we generally name our schools after geographic areas or landmarks, not after people. So up by Tynes Elementary, high growth area up in that area also. So again, if you look at the map, you can see all of the areas that we're talking about and the schools involved. And again, I kind of like to show the circle part and say, okay, these are big neighborhoods that are out there. And you can see all the ones with the check marks, although it didn't convert quite neatly there, but you can see the check marks. Those are ones where homes are currently being built. Like the ground has already been moved in Clay County. So if you look, the outlook there would be an additional, almost 600 students eventually would be in that area. You can see where that would be located. You see a little dot there if you can see that far. And the 5-year outlook for Tynes is tremendous growth up there in the Tynes Boulevard area. So in all likelihood, again, school R is definite, 2023. School A, very likely. In other words, it's in our 5-year plan. And the rest of the ones I'm going to talk about here in the future are the ones that I'm talking about are projected out. It becomes less certain the further you go out. Obviously, things change in the economy. So two big areas are Saratoga Springs and then also Governor's Park. And you can see where those are. You see Saratoga Springs. You can see the circle with it labeled there. And then you can see Governor's Park south of Greencove. So interestingly enough, in our projections for growth, by the way, it's very difficult for me to stand in one spot. I don't know if you can take that out. Okay. Then the people won't be able to see. So I'll try to stay in this particular area. So the growth originally was thought that Governor's Park would open sooner than it's projected to open up. And so really Governor's Park is not going to start taking off until Shands Bridge, the new Shands Bridge, is put across there. Once that happens, then we anticipate that. So that in our planning process, those two actually flipped. Whereas Governor's Park was a greater priority and need, and Saratoga Springs was second, now that's flipped. I just give you that example to say, again, school R is definite, school A very likely. The rest of them depend on what happens, with the economy and the growth that occurs. So you can see there, we're looking at a school in August of 25, 27, and 28, okay? If all that growth occurs. School R is definitive because some of the schools in that area have already reached their maximum capacity. As you start to project out, it becomes less certain when it comes to schools. There's Governor's Park. You can see that we're planning on 2 K-8s in a high school south of Green Cove. Right there, that whole area is going to explode. If you look at that, that kind of shows you the 10,000 students that we're projecting. So to give you an idea, we currently have about 41,000 students now. So 10,000 would be roughly adding a quarter of our students back into the system. All of this does cost money. Nothing happens for free. So if you take a look at that, you're looking at about 30 million for a new school. When you go up to a high school, it's 70 million, 75 million. So all of that is of high cost. So there's always a little bit of tug when it comes to building and growth and the affordability of schools and how to do that. So Ed First is the half-cent sales tax that was passed by the voters of Clay County. School system is very proud of that, very happy that that's happened. It can generate about $13 million, a little over $13 million in a year. That's what it generates in sales tax. I would also kind of point out that $13 million a year, to give you an example, we currently have about $9 million worth of air conditioning needs, about $5 million in roofing needs. That's just repairs. So I don't want to sound like $13 million isn't a lot of money, but in a school system that has a budget of almost $400 million, per year, it's very, very helpful, but it's not the be all end all. When you see that a school costs $30 million, I showed you that, that's not, because I did have people say to me, this, no matter what the situation was, they would finish it up with, but you got the sales tax. This happened, that happened, but you got the sales tax. Well, I got to have root canal, but you got the sales tax. No matter what, that was the answer. Right? Okay, one air conditioning chiller at Orange Park High School that was replaced recently. An air conditioning chiller is like a room-sized air conditioning unit, much smaller room than this, maybe 12 by 12 room. $980,000 to replace the one air conditioning unit. So if you figure $13 million a year, if that was true, then you would be looking at replacing 13 air conditioning units. Right? And that's just a simple example to show you how far that money goes. One of the big things that I'm proud of is that for the taxpayers, we want to ensure transparency. So the oversight committee is a group of citizens, and actually it's an impressive group. It's kind of scary. We had our first meeting, we had our second meeting on Tuesday, and there's a lady there that's an IRS fraud investigator, and she introduced herself as such, and a couple of CPAs and auditors and people that are generally interested in ensuring that the focus is that every single penny will be spent on the prescribed valid language as to what it can be used for. So we're very, very proud of that. We've started some of those projects and air conditioning replacement, some of our roofing needs, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, the amount of money that's generated depends on the economy and how much people spend, right? So reflections on this past year, the beauty of what we do for a living is that every year is a brand new year. I'm so thankful and blessed that I work in an industry where, you finish up the year and then you reset for the next year. Not very many businesses do that. They have like this constant throughout the year. There's no reset point. And the school system we have a reset point. So I took a vote of principals. How many of them would like to pretend that 2020 never happened? There was a high number that raised their hand. Right? The challenges of last year were great, but it's even with greater pride that I say it's very successful also. So many challenges, so many weird things. Probably the greatest weird example I have for you to kind of bring a little humor into it is that I remember actually we quarantined computers for 14 days that were returned so students would have computers to work on work. And when they brought them forward, the thinking was that they needed to be quarantined. You weren't allowed to touch them. So they would turn them in bags. We would store them in rooms for 14 days. Then we would undo the bag and do what we had to do with the computer. And it seems ridiculous now, right? But if you think back to those days, that was the current thought, the prevailing wisdom was. And so to kind of operate a school system in ever-changing rules and a sense of lack of direction, sometimes from government officials and health officials, kind of makes it challenging. So I always say, if you're superintendent, you get it from both sides. We would get it from the people. I actually had somebody call me and say, if you open up schools, blood is on your hands. I just want to tell you that. Okay, thank you for the uplifting speech, ma'am. And then others are like, why didn't you just open up schools? What's the big deal? This is all going to go away in a couple months. What are you doing, right? So I've always found that making calm, rational, common sense decisions based on the information that you have and staying down the middle, so to speak, keeps the guardrails up and everybody moving forward. We did that very successfully this school year. You can see that we did have about 1,300 students that contracted the coronavirus during the school year. We have various measures in place for those students. and we successfully made it through this school. We had graduation by the end of the year. Graduation was at full capacity at those stadiums. And we tried to move the school system back to as normal as possible, and always keeping in mind, and I always tell people this, that call me and they say something like, oh, why are we doing that? That's nonsense. Don't do that. You know, why? The responsibility of taking care of other people's children is 10 times that of your own child, is the example I use, right? In other words, the way that I would care for my own child, I'm going to care for your child with 10 times more care, because that child is not my child, and I'm responsible for them, right? So you still have to have those safety precautions in place to take care of other people's children. Okay, on to the next slide. So despite all of that, we actually improved in our literacy scores. It's amazing to me. We went from 10th in the state to 8th. So in case you didn't know, Clay County Schools is an A-ranked school district. We're in the top 10 of just about every statistical category out there when it comes to measuring student learning. It's very, very challenging. And some students at home learning, some students at school. Some parents would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because they couldn't really make up their mind as to what they wanted to do. And I think that Florida led the nation in opening up public schools. And I think Clay County is a leader within Florida for sure. So we're very proud of how we handled that and the difficulties of that. We tried to be as responsive as we could to our community and serve the needs of our community. And we did that successfully. That kind of shows that. I always get questions that people call me and say, what people call me out of the blue and they'll say, what are you teaching those kids? Right? You can imagine the questions I get. So if you look up there, that graphic kind of shows you, the heart of what we do in Clay County schools. If you look at the top, the very blue ring that you see going around there is high expectations for all. Every single person can learn and improve their lot in life, no matter what their current status is. That's a core belief of Clay County schools. And our job is to move them forward, regardless of who they are, their socioeconomic needs, their family background and dynamics. In all of that, everyone can and will learn. Learning is not optional. That's what I tell people all the time. Learning isn't optional. It's not like you get to choose. I'm not going to learn. No, it's not optional. It's mandatory to learn. You see, the red ring there is good instruction. At the heart of education is the teacher in the classroom. So that is the gold standard. Then you can see kind of like a pie-shaped, and maybe you can't read it as well, but it talks about some of the core beliefs of Clay County School. One is student engagement. We want students to be engaged. And there's a difference between compliance. Sorry, guys. There's a difference between compliance and commitment. Compliance means sometimes students, how many of you have ever been in a boring class in your life? And it was like, that's just compliance. You're checking the box, Not getting in trouble is not the criteria that we're going for. Engagement is the active involvement in learning. So when we talk about student engagement, we're not talking about just people sitting in straight rows and being quiet and raising their hand and being polite and all those things that we expect from people. You have to actually be engaged in order to learn something. And people learn by doing, right? If you have to teach something and do something, then your learning has to be elevated in order to do that. If you're just doing exactly what I'm doing now, which is what I call sit and get, where somebody talks to you like I'm doing, and this is a non-example of teaching, right? In our time frame that we have here today, people have to be engaged and learn. Then you can see we want to check for understanding. Sometimes students will sit there and they won't get it, but nobody engages them to figure out if they get it or they don't. So I always use the example of putting your ladder of success and climbing the ladder of success and then find out your ladder's on the wrong wall. That's tragic. You might have to move your ladder to a new wall. Whereas if you consistently check along the way, you'll then know if the student is progressing the way they should. When you talk about academic ownership, have you ever had a teacher where the teacher did all of the work, you didn't have to do anything? Right? I call that the sage on the stage, which is the teacher that just goes up there and starts talking. And they might have great stories, right? It's good stories, riveting stories, but you don't own the learning. The teacher owns it. Well, they got a degree. We know that we want to see what the students can do. And that last box is rigorous tasks. If you don't challenge people, then they're never going to expand their learning, right? The greatest value is when you stretch the student, not past the breaking point, but to the brink of the breaking point. And the key is to know where that is along the way. And so that's the vision for what happens in instruction in the class. So if anybody asks you, what are they teaching them in that school? There's the answer right there. So refer back to the slide. So really, we're focusing on three things. Literacy is huge. You know, there's statistics out there that if a student can't read by third grade, their odds of success diminish significantly. So that pre-K to 3 reading, early literacy is so important. You know, it's really exciting when students make the conversion from learning to read to reading to learn. So when you think about it, when you're in those early primary grades, you're learning to read. Eventually the switch turns and now you're reading to learn. And that's very scientific. It's not just simply having a student go out in your lap and read, and you read books and word sight recognition, phonemic awareness, etc. It's a whole science that goes involved, and I'm proud to say we spent a lot of time working on that since becoming superintendent. I believe that creates a foundation for students for their future. The one-play vision, I showed you that, and then the other last thing is the harnessing the energy of people working together. You know, so it's hard to believe that we have to say this, but teaching is an isolated event. Right? Think about how crazy this is. We take teachers, we put them in their own room, we actually lock the door and shut it, right? Because of safety measures in today's society. So the question would be, you have to actually work to get people to collaborate and work together, because the whole system is set up to make that more difficult. I don't know if you've ever given any thought to that, but teaching is a very isolated profession. You're in your room with your kids. Well, it's important that those teachers talk to one another, and that's what that's referring to. Okay, go ahead, Gabrielle. Looking forward. Hey, we're looking forward to a return to normalcy. We've already lifted the mask mandate for next school year. We still keep in place all of the safety protocols, which includes an individual school safety plan, including student movements, still a separation of students. We still have electrostatic sprayers, which are kind of the latest and greatest in cleaning equipment for schools in order to keep them sterile. And we're looking forward to coming back. We're going to increase our capacity at events. Now, are students going to get test positive for COVID next school year? The answer is unequivocally yes. It would be irrational to think that that's not going to happen. Or adults. The key is, do you have preventative measures in place to keep it as low as possible? And two, do you have steps in place for when it does happen? And without doubt, Clay County Schools is prepared to do that coming next school year. There you go.
We already run over 7 minutes on your
All right, so I'll take any quick questions before I step out the door.
We'll do it live. Anybody have a question here live? It was a pretty thorough presentation, right? I think the last slide actually answered all my questions. Yes, in the back. Yeah, we'll ask folks on Zoom questions. Looks like you're good.
I'm good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, do you have a question? No, you don't.
No.
Thank you.
Superintendent,
You all have a great day. Thank you so much. Appreciate it for our community.
thank you for taking care of our kids. Right, I think it's the Zoom mic that's feeding back because it's probably pointing right at that speaker. So I'm going to angle it out a little bit. Okay. Well, we've got a few bugs to work out with this format, but so far not too bad, right? One thing is to get more people here live. So please talk with your colleagues and your other community folks about getting here and tell them it's relatively safe. They can space out in the room. We intend to keep giving you some interesting content and opportunities to network before and after the meeting. So, want to do those introductions now? Because we didn't do them.
Of our steering committee?
Well,
We're talking about going to Clay Health Department and all that?
Yeah, well, we never did, oh, it's not on the agenda, that one, but we never did the introductions in the beginning of the folks that are present.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to start passing microphones. And we'll just stand up and just say who you are and where you're from, and we'll work two sides of the room. How about that? Be it first. And then just pass it again when you're done.
I have to stand up. Is that what we do?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Raylan Hack, and I live here down near the Asbury, but I'm from Wyoming. So I left Florida, and this is where I live. So I'm never going to leave. But I'm with Operation Barnabas, and we attack veterans, suicide, and homelessness here in Jacksonville. And so we're just trying to, it's been successful since 2017. Now we're just trying to really branch out and, make as big an impact as we can. So love to connect with whoever, make those connections. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Luke Artie with Ability Housing, program manager in the largest permanent supportive housing program for chronically homeless.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Amy Houston. I'm with Clay County Rescue Mission. Brandon was being very humble because he has a wonderful operation here in Clay County that helps support Clay County's veterans. He's one of my wonderful resources that I go to. But Clay County Rescue Mission was developed last year, and we serve Clay County's homeless population. I like to say people that fall through the cracks is who we serve. So anybody that's finding themselves in a predicament and maybe not necessarily they can meet the criteria of other nonprofits locally, we like to help serve them. We have two programs of interest. We have a self-sufficiency and we have a reentry program, which we partner with the Clay County Sheriff's Office and LA Life. But we have a back to school backpack outreach that we're partnering with Mercy Support Services, Operation Barnabas, and probably the Way Clinic. We have probably 10 other agencies coming in. It's just going to be a great venue for everybody to shake hands, meet everybody, and just provide these resources to our students who need that help and support. But thank you.
Good morning. I'm a little too close to the mic, sorry. My name is Robert Van. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. We just opened a new behavioral health office in Clay County. Yay, more behavioral health services coming. We're on Kingsley. We have 2 offices currently in Jacksonville as well. So we serve Duval and Clay. Elite DNA Therapy Services is a statewide organization. We're in 19 different locations. We're looking to expand and looking to grow and meet the state's mental health mental health needs. A little plug for ourselves, our Orange Park office will be doing an open house August 25th. This is Jenny. She's with our business development program. She'll probably be more of the person here. I'm kind of the person she brings in if they have clinical questions or they want to know about our programs and things like that. That's who I am in regards to that, and we both work together on a clinical implementation team.
Okay.
Good morning, good to see you all. I'm Christine Morales with Celebration Church, and we're in the outreach department here at Orange Park. We have a food pantry that feeds over 300 families every week, 600 when we open back up on our second day. We are just constantly trying to meet the needs of the community. Through COVID, we had to stop block parties. We try to host those in various neighborhoods to connect to the community, build relationships, and then from there see what the needs are. So right now we're concentrating in the Tanglewood area, and hopefully this school year we'll be back into mentoring students in the 3 schools on Kingsley Avenue and whereabouts were needed, as well as our backpack program that we provide for weekend food packages for students. And food for play. And food for play.
Hello, my name is Robert Bass. I am the campus pastor at Celebration Orange Park. So working with Christina Morales, we recently dedicated around 4,000 square feet to food and helping the community. And so really excited to be a part of this group and to see how we can help.
Fabulous.
Hartman and I with Career Source. We have a lot of people going back to work, so our office is there to assist those who are in need. The unemployment office, there isn't one, but they come to our office because a lot of people are having trouble with their unemployment programs. They are, like I said, we're not the unemployment, but they can assist them with their filing.
Morning, versus support services and.
By the way, that's how I was supposed to instruct everybody. Your name, your organization, and maybe 10-second commercial.
Amy Parker with Collins Environmental Foundation.
Thank you.
I'm Melanie Miller. I'm with the Center for Girls Play.
Hi, I'm Carol Crawl with the Center for Girls.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Gohagan with Play Action Coalition. We do substance abuse prevention education.
Good morning, I'm Heather McDonald, and I'm the supervisor for mental health and wellness for Clay County Schools, and I also supervise the school district.
Good morning, I'm Kristen Reedy. I'm with the Clay County School District. I am the coordinator of nursing services.
Good morning, I'm Stephanie Roy with Gender Institute, and we work with usually businesses and helping them become more strategic and efficient. But once a year, we work with nonprofit leaders. So if that's something that you want to work on, we do it for absolutely no cost to the participants. So I'd love to tell you a bit more about that.
Good morning, I'm Monique Johnson. I'm the Tobacco Policy Manager with Civic Communications, and we handle the tobacco-free partnership here in Clay County.
Hello, my name is Julie Duncan. I am the community engagement specialist for SITCOM, doing the tobacco prevention stuff in Spain.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jenny Fox, and I was recruited this morning for the Clay Safetynet Alliance. I'm a member of the steering committee. I'm here representing the Village Improvement Association. We are the first federated women's club here in the state of Florida.
Folks in the back.
I'm Laura from Mercy Support Services.
Gabrielle Gunn with Impact Play.
Great, and Gabrielle is part of the steering committee, Amy Parker is part of the steering committee, Patrick Hale is part of the steering committee, and Mark Carolyn is part of the steering committee. Thank you so much for those present. I can't remember, Michaela is not present, she's on it, who else? Patrick, who was here earlier.
Are we having fun yet?
We're running behind, but we've got some updates to give you.
Anybody on the plate?
Yeah, I believe I don't know if anybody from the health department's here.
We got health
I'm here,
department.
Dawn. Can you hear me?
Yes, go right ahead. Give us an update.
Hi, guys. This is Sydney with the Department of Health. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it in today. I'm hoping to be able to be with y'all in person next time. I do have a few updates for y'all. Our community health division is providing free COVID-19 vaccinations at the Hammer and Hope event. I'm sure a few of you are familiar with that event. You know, it's going to be a great event to help our community members who might be suffering with opioid misuse or have family members who are suffering. So that is going to be on 7/23 from 9 to 2. We will be out there, quite a few of us. And then also the Infant Mortality Task Force is doing a drive-through baby shower in Middleburg coming up. So keep an eye out for those details and we will make sure to get those out to you. And, you know, definitely reach out to any expectant mothers, you know, who would be interested. And that's all I got on this side.
Excellent. Anybody from behavioral health? Oh, that was Sydney.
Irene.
Oh, Irene, are you on?
I am on. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
So for the behavioral health work group, actually, we are preparing for the annual CHIP meeting review. Sydney's got us working on our presentation, so I won't give you a detailed update, just to say that we've made progress on some of the goals that were established by the work group. Others not so much progress, but I think that's really to be expected given the year that we've just come through. And I think that we did, it's clear that, you know, now more than ever, we recognize the importance of behavioral health and providing accessible, affordable services to the members of our community. And if I could just add one, can I add one thing to that too?
Please.
Okay, just because I can't miss an opportunity to talk about mental health. So we've talked a lot about the residual effects of kind of the prolonged stress that people have been going through, and now it has a name. They're calling it post-pandemic stress disorder, which is very similar to post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's just, you know, just be aware of the people you work with and serve, and also with you know, in yourself and your colleagues, that prolonged exposure to the stress in many forms that we've experienced really is expected to have some lasting effects. And for people that had anxiety or depression before the pandemic, it probably has heightened that. And for folks that had no issues previously, we may be feeling that. And I think the key to that is that the theme seems to be loss. And we've talked a lot about that this morning, that there's been a lot of loss, right? Loss of time, loss of opportunities, loss of experiences, loss of work, income, education, and of course, loss of people. So that takes its toll. So it's really important that we look out for each other, for the people we work with, the people we serve, and really look for ways to lift each other up and make sure that we're doing okay, and to remember that it's okay to not be okay. There you go.
That's awesome, Irene. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Monique Johnson. Let's talk about changes.
So I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. I know we're kind of behind time, but once again, I'm the Tobacco Policy Manager with Civcom Communications. We handle the tobacco-free partnership here in Clay County. So I know some familiar faces in here. So through the partnership, I was a part of it before under AHED. So now I have a much larger role here. So we're just going to be responsible for like implementing a lot of policy changes. So that part I'm not new to. What I would say though is, and for everybody on to, we are wanting to recruit people that are passionate about ending nicotine addiction and working with the youth. So anybody that would be interested in being a part of that, we're looking to have a meeting here soon, probably next month. And we just want to solicit all the support that we can for it. And this is Julie Duncan. I'm going to pass it to her. She's going to work a lot with the SWAT.
Good morning, everyone. This is my first in-person meeting since COVID, really. I'm very excited about it. So just a little bit of background about me, really quick. I actually grew up in Clay County. I went to Dr. Elementary, I went to Lakeside Junior High, graduated from Ridgeview, class of 2010. So I'm so excited to be back in my community. I've been doing tobacco prevention and education in Duval, St. John's, and Nassau County for the last 5 years with SIVCOM. So I'm so excited to be home now that we have the tobacco prevention strength here. As Monique said, I will be doing leading the SWAT and youth involvement in tobacco prevention and advocating against their using of tobacco and nicotine products. In 2018, the CDC they proclaimed that nicotine addiction was an epidemic, and it is. In Florida, high school youth are using vaping products at a higher rate than even adults are smoking cigarettes. And that's quite alarming because your brain isn't done developing just yet. Aside from youth, I'm very excited to engage with our other disparate populations because we know tobacco and nicotine addiction doesn't only harm our youth, but it also harms other people in the community that are low socioeconomic status, those with mental health issues, and a variety of other people that come from different backgrounds. So I'm very excited to work with everybody in this room and hopefully we get to know each other a lot better at our tobacco partnership meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Oh, really quick. I'm sorry, really quick. For AHEC, that's who I was working for before I came to SIVCOM. They are looking for an intake specialist. It's a really big need for it. So if any of you know of someone that needs a job that's really good with talking to people on the phone, please let me know.
Class of 2010. I've got underwear older than that. 2013, no, we have a winner.
Okay, so I have a couple of things that I need to share with you guys. The 100+ Women event, one of our projects, is going to be, their next friendly meeting is here next Thursday, so please be sure you can attend. All you ladies want to give Wafer Medical Clinic, Young Lives of Clay County, and Clay Behavioral will be the 3 nominees for that night. Mercy Auto, another project of ours, is going to have their first car care clinic, part of their foundation side of things, and they are in need of the car kits that they're working on. So it'll be like a bucket that includes jumper cables, a first aid kit, flashlight, the bare necessities that they would need after learning things that aren't really taught in the day-to-day world that I really don't know about, how to change tire, check fluid, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be the first event that they want to continue doing throughout the year. And they're also looking for a mechanic. They don't have to be a certified mechanic, they can be a tech, but if you know somebody that has auto history and is looking for a job, they are in desperate need. They have over 40 vehicles that they distributed throughout the county in the last year, and over 50 repairs to date. So they have a lot on their plate. Impact Clay is hosting the GLS Summit, the Global Leadership Summit here, August 5th and 6th. At the August 5th meeting, Impact Clay will have their regularly scheduled executive roundtable meeting, which will be open to the public for those who are going to be in attendance at the summit. And so it's really going to bring exposure to what Impact Clay is trying to do within our community, and also to present our newest project submitted by Operation Barnabas for approval. So we're super excited and can't wait to share with you more information about that project and how it's going to help the veterans here in Clay County. And that's all I've got. Please make sure you follow our Facebook page so that you guys can see the information for the many different things that we're working on.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And You know, we've been creeping into meeting need and announcements, so it's a perfect segue. And I actually have an opportunity that came up through Waste Not, Want Not. So they rescue a lot of food. Everybody kind of knows that. They also rescue things that are not food. They have a dozen or so commercial coffee carafes, such as the type that you see in gas stations and so forth with a little spigot on it, that retail for about $1,500. They're rescuing a bunch of them, and they're going to have about a dozen or so available if anybody wants some of those. You can let me know, or anyone on the steering committee know, by Wednesday, the first, by next Wednesday. And it has to be picked up Friday, July 23rd. So any other needs? I think some have come through. Anybody live first? Live? Just come on up here to the middle podium and I'll swing this around.
Sure. I'm Carolyn Crawl at the Pace Center for Girls. So who's seen our new building being constructed in college, right? It's beautiful, it's beautiful. However, we are not in it yet. As with many things, there's a bit of a construction delay, and our girls go to school year round. I don't know if everybody knows that, but our girls are there working now. So we are looking for a temporary location to be in for a few months until the building is complete. Right now, we're at Freedom Destiny Church. They've been so gracious to let us in there. Our girls literally picked up their computers and walked next door. But we can't stay there indefinitely. It's not, it's not the best spot for us right now. So we are looking for, if anybody has classroom space, be it a church or, private school, anything like that, we'd be happy to rent from them. We have 50 students and about 15 staff members there every day. Right now we don't have as many students because it's summer. It's a little slow. Many of our girls are still working ILE, which is like at home. But once the new school year starts, all of our girls are going to be back. So we're, like I said, our capacity is a little over 50. So I think 65 people.
This is something to really get behind if we can.
Thank you.
Spread that word. Anybody else live before we go to online? Yes. No, I'm going to talk to somebody else. About folks online. Any needs out there?
I have something to share, if that's okay. Hi, I'm Leah Donnelly McDermott with the Nonprofit Center. It's good to see some of you. It's been a while since I've been at one of these meetings, and I'm filling in for Callan Brown, who you all are probably very familiar with. She's actually out on maternity leave. She had a healthy, beautiful baby girl about 3 weeks ago. So I'm around this summer filling in for her a little bit more, including helping to support the work that we're doing specifically in Clay. And thanks to the Reinhold Foundation, we do have 2 workshops coming up next week that help organizations build their capacity and learn more about how you can better run your organization. So I wanted to make sure you all knew about those. The first is July 21st, next week. We're talking about business continuity planning at all times, any kind of emergency planning, but also specifically in the light of COVID-19, mostly from the business side, although I really appreciate Irene's insight on the mental health toll that's taking on all of us too. So that's July 21st from 9 to 10:30. You can register on our website. And then we have another one at the end of July on the 27th on logic model development. So that's for helping the program side of your work to really identify what it is you're trying to achieve and making sure you have all the resources to be able to do that. So we hope that you can join us for one or both of those. There's no cost to them. Again, thanks to the Reinhold Foundation and their great support of all of the work that happens in Clay County. Our website is nonprofitctr.org. I put it in the chat of the Zoom as well for those of you who can see that. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to help answer those. So thanks so much for the opportunity. And once again, great to be here. Good to see you.
Thank you. And I neglected to add you to the updates. So thank you for the update. And also Callan on the steering committee. Many thanks to her and best wishes to her. And that segued us into the announcements section as well, so that's perfect. Anyone online with an announcement?
Hey, Don,
Yeah.
this is Joyce Case with the Health Planning Council. And I wanted to let everybody know, make sure everybody knows that August 15th is coming up very quickly for the Affordable Care Act. Anybody can enroll in the ACA. Folks that are under 150% of poverty, between 100 and 150% of poverty, qualify for free health insurance. They don't have to have any life events. It's open enrollment. People who are on unemployment, if they've received even just one unemployment check this year, they will qualify for free health insurance. It's imperative that they do this now so that they can get enrolled. If they get enrolled before the end of July, their coverage will start August 1st. If they get enrolled in August, it'll start September 1st. And then open enrollment is coming around November 1st. And this year they're extending it 30 days and it will be going through January 15th. So it's really important that if you have anybody that needs health insurance, please have them give me a call. I'll leave information in the chat. There's one other thing I want to tell y'all about. The Health Planning Council, along with the other 10 health councils throughout the state of Florida, is doing the state health needs assessment and the state health community health assessment and the implementation plan. And we have a provider survey that we need your input on. So if you're a provider in our community, anywhere in our counties, please send it on. I sent it to Don and he's going to send it out to y'all, but it's important that you do that. That is good. The survey is going to stay open until August 31st. So you have plenty of time. Send it to anybody that you know that's a provider in our community, so that this is how funding occurs, folks. So if we have the needs in our community and we don't say what they are, the funding is going to go to somebody else. So make sure that you do that state health needs assessment, especially if you are a provider. This is the provider survey. So thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
That's one way to shut her up.
This concludes